So here's how it started. I live in Brooklyn. I just recently moved here, and I was walking down the street one day, and it was on my block that there's this old abandoned, I think it's a Baptist church now. It looks like it's been defunct for a long time. The building's not in great shape. And I was walking past it on the way to the bus, and I look down on the ground, and I see a neck for a bass face down in the dirt. She says, "This doesn't hurt." I'm a trash man, okay? I'm a garbage collector. So I pick up this neck, expecting it to be some Squire junk, but I flip it over, and I see this type of stuff, the wear on the fingerboard, and I'm like, oh. And I look at the headstock, and I see nitro cracking, and I'm like, nitro? And I see Fender, and I'm like, whoa, this is not some crappy Squire thing. And I got so excited. I was on the way to work. I brought it all the way to work with me. And at one point along my walk on the way home, some guy came up to me, and he was drunk, and he was like, whoa, what kind of neck you got? And I was very hesitant to talk to him about it. But I was like, it's a P-bass neck. And he goes, can I see it? And I'm like, this is the moment. He's going to run away with it. Against my better judgment, I let him handle it. I let him see it. And he goes, wow, hey, that's really cool. You know, I'm a bass player too. And he pulls up his sleeve, and he's got the patent drawing for the P-bass from like the 51 drawing on his fucking arm. He was like, I'm a bass player too, and man, I love P-basses. That's a cool neck, man. So I was like, wow, that was such an unexpectedly positive outcome to that. I was expecting fully to get robbed of my new piece that I picked up. There was a missing machine for this, and this one was broken. So as you can see, they've done a bit of repair work, a bit of dodgy repair work. On one of these, they put a washer and their own screw onto the top G-string one. So when this happened, I reached out to the guys on the Talkbass forums because, God, they're just such a good resource, man. If you can find people on Talkbass that aren't like insane Tonewood conspiracy theorists or like staunch traditionalists, it's really a great community. And especially in New York, I talked to a lot of people in New York who were willing to help me. Somebody actually sent me a tuning machine, something that would fit into what I was doing, just for free. He just said, buy someone else a coffee sometime, just for good karma. So nice, man. And they really wanted to see a bass come out of it. And it's been a long time coming that this neck actually sits in its home where it is today. Given the serial number on it, this bass neck is from between 78 to maybe 80 or 81. One of the ways that you can tell the era is the fact that the neck is poly finish, very thick poly finish. Apparently in the late 70s, they were going very thick with their poly finishes. But the headstock has nitro cracking, which was confusing to me. But apparently it's because the water slide decal that they used did not react well to the finish that they were using on the headstock, so they would put a coat of nitro over top of it. And another cool feature is that they plugged the headstock truss rod hole, and you actually access the truss rod with the big screw end from the heel. So that's all things that are dating this bass. The natural aging, the tuners that came with it are aged so beautifully, and I wish the other tuners were aged a bit the same way, but that's just all a part of the story of this bass. You know, as a parts caster bass, it's always going to have little missing teeth, little mismatching, and that's what makes it cool, in my opinion. Do you guys understand how much I couldn't stop talking about this to everyone that I knew? People who had no idea what I was talking about. Like, I was just yelling into the sky about how cool it was that a vintage P-bass neck just happened to show up as a gift from the city. That's what it felt like. I couldn't believe it when I attached it to a body and strung it up, and the truss rod was fine. There was no twist in the neck. That's immediately what I thought when it was thrown out was, it's going to be warped this way. No. It's going to be warped this way, or it's going to have a weird twist, but truss rod was not seized. It was not loose. It's all working, I guess. They're just rugged. So that's the neck. The body went through many iterations. Actually, just 2 iterations. The body, I initially bought this vintage import-style mahogany white bass body for this project because I figured I got the neck for free, and I wanted to just put this together and make sure that it worked. So I went to my favorite eBay store, Slappy's Vintage, and I picked myself up an Olympic white knockoff P-bass body. It was still a vintage body, and it still had some cool wear to it. In fact, it had a giant graffiti tag on the back. So I thought it was kind of a neat piece. To attach this to. But boy, was I wrong when I learned how bad the neck pocket was on that white P-bass body. Oh, the deepness of the pocket was so extreme that I had to shim the fuck out of this neck. Like, I had to put like layers and layers of shims in there. It felt very sacrilegious. So I sat on it for a while. I found this neck pretty soon after my girlfriend and I moved here, and just now I'm getting around to fully building this guy out. So after thinking about it for a long time, I decided it was time to find a body for this guy. So let me run through the body and tell you about this beautiful, beautiful body. This is a 79 to 81 era Capri Orange P-bass, Fender P-bass. Look at the honest wear. Look at the thumb wear, dude. Straight through the top coat and into the finish and into the wood. Somebody who owned this bass just played it so respectably. The belt buckle rash, like, I was looking for a special body for this neck that matched the type of wear that it had, you know? I like road-worn pieces a lot, but it really depends for me, because sometimes the road wear is so unrealistic, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like when you get like a heavy relict body and this is like chainsawed off and it looks like it's been hit with chains and knives for the past 60 years, and the finish, there's like one little speckle of finish left on it. The times that happens is so rare, and I know that everyone wants a Rory Gallagher style Strat, but I think a little bit of nuance is better. And this body just called out to me. It's similar or same era. I don't know if this neck is as early as a 78, but it might be. But it definitely could be a 79 or 80. The body is a 79 through 80. You can check from the serial that was on it. Once I had the body from the 70s, 80 and early 80s, and the neck from the late 70s, early 80s, I decided I'm gonna have to get a 70s era pickup to complete the package. This one is a little bit darker, but if you gain it up, it really gets crispy and grindy as well. So that's the pickup. The things on this bass that I did make as modern accoutrement are the pickguard. The original pickguard that the seller was offering with this body was a dark tort, and I just think that orange and dark tort don't go together. That's just a me thing. I think it looks really nice with the orange. I think the orange is kind of a fun color, and pearloid kind of also is a fun pattern. This white mother of toilet seat. And then the knobs are aged relics. The knobs are relict regular knobs. I figured with brand new knobs it would stick out. And then I also, the only other special thing about the wiring is that I have a treble bleed mod on volume roll off. I hate when you lose high end when you roll off on volume, and so I had that treble bleed installed also. So that's the rundown of the whole rig. This is what it looks like. If you like this video, subscribe and like. I'm testing out various types of videos right now. If you want to see me talk more about music gear, those seem to be the videos that get me the best traction. So I'd love to talk more about my gear in the future. So thanks for watching, and subscribe and be here for the next one.